Hey guys, you're watching Couch Surfing here with Metal Matt. We've got a very special guest with us right now, Lance from Decimator.
Hey guys, yeah, good.
Cool. Great to have you on the couch here. Been meaning to do this for a while.
Thanks for the invite.
It's happening, so let's have a chat about Decimator, the whole formations around the band. How did this band all come together?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of other bands, there's been a bit of a not a revolving door so much as, you know, there's just this. There's always going to be a bit of flux to begin with. So it was 2 years ago in January. I'd done the whole trying to get music stuff together, cover band stuff with other people and things like that. But what I really wanted to do was play metal, and it was hard with the group I was in at that time and the people I knew. They weren't so much into the metal, and I reached out. I saw a video by Mike, who had been posting online for a little bit, trying to find other people who were into the sort of more old school thrash and stuff like that. I just reached out to him and went out to his place, which is not far from here.
Right.
And went out to his place. We jammed for a couple of hours, and there was like almost an immediate chemistry. You know, you're just in sync, and there was ideas he had, and then they just seemed to sort of gel with mine. And we sort of decided to move forward from there and try and create a band around that. Soon after that, I talked a friend of mine who's actually the dad of one of my son's friends at school.
Yep.
He played drums, he was big into metal. He's involved with Anthony Blaney of Your Mate, and he helped Anthony out before. And he played drums, but he hadn't played drums for ages. And I sort of talked him back into it, and he'd been in bands, but he'd never played metal.
Yes, yeah.
But we'd done a few cover version things. We'd had a little bit going on before the sort of Decimator started to happen, and he sort of got into it. My boy's a drummer, so I've got a drum kit in the house.
Yep.
So that sort of started to be the sort of core of it. Took us a while to find a bass player. We recruited Monty, who I jammed with before, and I knew through other people who I didn't actually know through music. I knew from one guy from the gym, where my boy used to do his jiu-jitsu, and that was like the four-piece. And then of course the COVID lockdown came along.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I think we maybe got 5 or 6 rehearsals in, and then lockdown happened, and then you couldn't get together, you couldn't rehearse. So we used to catch up on Facebook and do sort of like a group chat and just keep things ticking over all the time, writing lyrics, coming up with riffs, sharing them. But you know what Australian broadband is like. You can't do real-time jam sessions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we hung in there. Lockdown ended, and Bobby, our drummer, he was always struggling to do Saturday afternoons, which was when we tended to rehearse, just because people work. Weekday evenings just difficult. So he sort of bowed out, and then we were drummerless. Fortunately, my boy, he turned 16 in a week, pretty much. He jumped in. I had to bribe him every week with like an Xbox game or something like that. So he was actually the first person who was earning anything out of Decimator before we got any income going on. Yeah. So he jumped in and he was playing the drums for rehearsals. Monty, our bass player, had a hip replacement Christmas last year, so he was out of the game for a while. So my mate lives over the road, a guy called Kim Ross, who's a fantastic bass player. He normally plays with the Resurgence band in Campbelltown. He's played with the blues guy Frank Macias. He played with the band Conduction before they really became Conduction. So he's been around, he's done metal, he's done blues, he loves his jazz. So he filled in for a couple of rehearsals. Then Monty came back, we were sort of tracking along okay, and then we started getting offered gigs.
Cool.
So I think our first gig was early September, which we took as a last minute sort of thing. We supported Two Faced at the Duke.
Yep.
We did that gig on the Sunday. The day after, Monty got admitted to hospital for 2.5 weeks with an infection in his leg.
Yeah.
So then we were like, okay, our next gig was, I think, Chatswood. So Chatswood we had 3 weeks, and we're like, okay, well, we really need to get in. We need to rehearse, but we've got no bass player who can rehearse. So Kim came back into the fold for a bit for that, and we've been a bit worried about Monty's health for a while, particularly because we were getting offered a gig every 2 or 3 weeks, and that can be fairly full on.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Monty was sort of there as the bass player, but Kim was just filling in. But for various reasons, he felt he couldn't sort of commit longer term. So we actually ended up with our drummers. So we got a new drummer in March because we finally found someone who could replace Mason, my son. And his housemate's a bass player.
Yep.
So then he became the bass player for the next gig, which was Penrith.
Yes. Yep.
Which I think you were at.
I was at, yeah.
So that was Cohen's first gig. So we did 3 gigs, 3 different bass players.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
wow.
Which kind of made it hard to do any new stuff because there was always somebody who was having to learn the set.
That's right.
Because we were gigging at the same time. Cohen came on board, and then we thought we were fairly solid. We had a gig. We went down to Canberra. We took a support gig down at the basement down there, and then we did, I think, our original booked gig for the 6th of November, so just over a month ago, at the Duke again, and that was only our third time with the steady lineup. And then of course recently, within the last couple of weeks, Mike just felt that there was too many things in his private life and stuff like that he just had to handle, and he was sort of struggling balancing the band and stuff like that, so he made the hard decision to sort of bow out. And we played a gig last night at Campbelltown. 10 days notice for our new guitarist. So he learned the set. He did amazingly well, I think, to learn 7 songs in 10 days. And it's not like we're all full-time musos, right?
That's right.
So you're working full-time and then you're squeezing this on top. So yeah, we gigged last night with Ethan. And hopefully this is going to be stable and we can get to working on new material. There's a few things that have been sort of rehearsed and in the pipeline for a while, but like I said, once you gig in every 2 or 3 weeks, then squeeze in other stuff, and it's like you're always squeezing it in where you can. So
100%.
That's where we're at the moment.
A bit of a crazy chaos going on at the moment, but at the end of the day, we're staying in a new year. 2023 is just about to hit. I'm sure you've got some big plans at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, we actually have Gala Promotions have put us on their card for the Crowbar on January the 14th.
Oh, good stuff.
So that's a big sort of show. There's hip hop, there's punk, there's Top Novel, Engraved Band, Disgust. That's a great opportunity for us. It's a bit of a baptism of fire for Ethan, because he was 12 days ago he wasn't in a band. Now he's in a band. He's done an RSL gig, and the next one is going to be Crowbar.
Jeez. Well,
so
from wave streams will never.
Yeah. So, but we can get a bit of consistency in there. And then we've barely got 2 weeks, and then we'll go down to Melbourne. 3 nights of gigs organised by Naeem from Rautism, and we're going to play the Friday night down there, and then we've got a couple of things in the works, maybe back out here to Penrith. In February we're Terrorential and Effigy.
Oh nice, cool. That'd be a good lineup.
We've got a March gig, March or April we're going up to Newcastle. So yeah, there's plenty of things, and now we've got Ethan on board, and there's a bit of hopefully stability, and everybody's sort of pretty comfortable with where we're at. We can move forward, because definitely the plan is to get stuff recorded over the next couple of months, get a single or an EP out in the next few months, an album hopefully, because this was all kind of planned next year.
Cool. Well, there's a lot happening next year for you guys, but if people want to contact the band to find more about you guys, you're online.
Yeah, so we've got the socials, we've got our Facebook page, Decimator Band Australia, we've got the Instagram, Decimator Band Australia, which is basically me.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, contact through there. We're going to get a bunch of merch done, but I'll post out t-shirts and stuff like that. They're slowly getting into the. I had a friend of mine who was at the Good Things Festival the other week and spotted a Decimator shirt in the.
I saw that online actually. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool, and that was one of the guys from Penrith.
Oh.
So that was one of the guys from the Soundgarden gig, which is still one of the best gigs. You know.
Yeah.
People were so into it, so we're actually quite keen. Although there's been a lot of shit about the Soundgarden, Penrith, and stuff like that. They're just a great audience out there.
That's right. Yeah.
So we really want to support it, whatever is going on.
100%.
As long as you know going into a thing what to expect, then it's not really an issue. So yeah, we're pretty keen for that.
Now, finally, if people haven't seen you guys live before, what can they expect from a live show from you guys?
Oh, look, what we get told in our feedback is it's like the stuff that was the old school metal from the sort of 90s.
Yep.
There's a bit of there's a lot of Maiden influence from me, Megadeth, Anthrax, that sort of amalgamation. We do melodic stuff. We always like to close with a ballad, as you'll know.
Of course, yep.
And you know, we've got some decent footage from last night, so I try and put that on the social so people can get a pretty good idea of what we're like, what we're about.
Hell yeah. Lance, absolute privilege to be chatting to you right now, and I'll tell you what, look out for Decimator in 2023. It's going to be nuts. Thanks, Lance.
Thank you. Cheers.